Hi, and welcome to my channel, Shades of Sage, where I discuss all things motherhood. My name is Tashima, I'm a doula and mom of 3, and I'm currently expecting my 4th child. So today's video is going to be all about fetal kick counts during pregnancy. So what fetal kicks are, how to do them, how I personally like to do my fetal kick counts, and some tips for you if you are currently expecting or will be expecting in the future. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So kicks during pregnancy is defined as any fetal movement in the womb. So that can be flutters, that can be rolls, that can be actual kicks, it could be punches, it could be jabs, etc. So just basically any fetal movement that mom can feel counts as a kick count. So it's recommended that moms start doing fetal kick counts every single day once they are in their 3rd trimester. So based on whatever chart you're using, some say that 3rd trimester starts at 27 weeks, but I think most doctors use the timeline of 28 weeks. So for me, that's when the 3rd trimester starts. So I am currently in my 3rd trimester. I'm actually 30 weeks today. Like I said in my previous video, I have been feeling fetal movement for a while now, so about since 14 weeks. But now that the baby is bigger, I do have like a set timeline of activity. So active periods that I know the baby will be active, and then periods when I know the baby will be asleep. But this is a very active baby. I think out of all of mine so far, this is the most active baby. I can feel this baby moving all day long. How you do kick counts, you want to get 10 movements within an hour to 2 hour span. So it really does help if you already know your baby cycles, like I was saying before, of activity. So if you are noticing the baby's more active during a certain time of day and less active during a certain time of day, you want to do your kick counts when you know that your baby will be active. So you want to either sit down or lie down and be as still as you can be so that you can get those kicks. You can do this on an app. I use Baby Center app for my pregnancies. That has a kick counter on there. So if you want to just pull out the app to help you, if you want to write it down, or if you just want to make a mental note to yourself. So do it during a time when you know that your baby is usually active, and make sure that you get at least 10 movements within that 1 to 2 hour period. Now, most babies, most healthy babies, you can get those movements really quickly when they are active. But say you're an hour into your kick counting and you haven't gotten the 10 movements, there's some things you can do to kind of encourage baby to move around a little bit, so you can change positions. So if you're sitting down, maybe lay down. If you're laying down, maybe sit up. If you eat something really sugary, that usually gets the baby going. You can gently poke your baby. You can shake your stomach, just whatever you want to do to kind of stir baby up, kind of aggravate baby a little bit so that they'll give you those movements that you're looking for. And again, you do want 10 fetal movements within a 1 to 2 hour period. So whether that's a kick or whether it's a punch, whether it's a roll. Obviously, as baby gets bigger, they run out of space. So in the beginning, you may be feeling like flutters, you may be feeling like kicks. As they get bigger and they run out of space to actually kick and punch, and especially if they're already head down, you'll feel more rolling kind of movement, but that does still count. I do want to make note though that hiccups do not count. So if you feel your baby hiccuping, you may not know what that feels like if you've never experienced, but it's basically like our hiccups. So you'll feel like, like every 2 seconds or so. That doesn't count as fetal movements because babies in the womb, they're practicing how to breathe before they get out of the womb. So they're practicing their breathing, they're practicing, swallowing amniotic fluid and peeing that out. So that's all part of the process, but it does not count for your 10 movements. So if you're feeling hiccups, try to do your kick counts another time when your baby does not have hiccups. And again, if you don't get those 10 movements within that first 1 to 2 hours, you can try again later. But I do want to say, so say you've done it once and you didn't get all your movements and you tried again later and you still didn't get all of your movements, then that is time for you to be a little bit concerned. You definitely want to make sure that baby is doing okay. If you haven't felt your baby moving, or if the fetal activity has decreased in any kind of way, or you haven't gotten those 10 movements within that 1 to 2 hour span, you definitely want to take action at that point. You want to either call into your nurse's line. I know most OBGYNs, they have a nursing line that you can call into 24 hours a day. So don't be afraid to use those numbers. If you have them, they're handy, they're there for you. If it's during hours, so during business hours and you can walk into the office, you can also do that as well. If it's after hours and you're really concerned, if it's been like a day or two and you haven't felt that much movement, or no movement at all, definitely go to the emergency room. It's better to be safe than sorry. It's better to make a whole big deal out of nothing than the alternative of you continuing to wait to feel fetal movement and then, you know, days go by and you don't feel anything. So definitely go in if you feel like you need to go in and have baby checked out. Baby could just be sleeping. Again, baby goes through cycles, you know, kind of like a newborn. So they'll have periods where they're sleeping. They'll have periods where they're less active, where they're more active. It really does help to know your baby's patterns. But if too much time has gone by and you haven't felt your baby moving or not moving that much at all, you definitely want to get that checked out, because an active baby is a healthy baby. Also, if you have an anterior placenta, you may not feel movement as often or as forcefully, or you may feel it later in your pregnancy than a mom whose placenta is posterior. But again, you still should be feeling your baby move even with an anterior placenta. For my last child, I did have an anterior placenta, so that means the placenta is presented on the front side of your stomach, or it's closer to your stomach, and your baby is behind the placenta, so you won't feel movements like I was saying as much, or maybe they may not be like as powerful as a baby's placenta that's not in the way, but you still should be feeling movements. It just may be a little less noticeable, or you may start feeling those movements later in pregnancy as baby gets bigger. But always trust your instincts. Definitely you want to trust your instincts as a mom, and this does start during pregnancy. If something just doesn't feel right, if something feels off, if you just feel like it's been too long, you know, I haven't felt my baby move, I've changed positions, I've done the kick counts more than one time a day, I've eaten something really sugary that I know really gets my baby going, and this time it's not working, go in. I cannot stress that enough. So when my daughter was in the NICU, so this is my first child, so this was years ago, but I remember there was another baby in the NICU, and I overheard the nurses talking in the background, and this woman was, I think she was like 36 weeks, and it was actually the day of her baby shower. So she had her baby shower. Things were just, you know, if you've ever been to a baby shower, they're kind of hectic, especially if you're the pregnant woman. And, you know, she hadn't really worried about feeling her baby move, but when she got home, she was like, hey, I haven't really felt my baby move. So she did her kick counts, and things just weren't, you know, as they normally are for her and her baby. So she went into the hospital. They put her on the NST, wasn't seeing the movement that they wanted to see there. Ultrasound, and basically, long story short, she had to have an emergency C-section. And then when she did have the C-section, they found out that the cord was wrapped around the baby's neck. Now, I'm not saying all this to scare you. I'm just saying that normally if you have a really active baby, or your baby's active during certain periods, and then for some reason it's just slows down or stops suddenly, it can be a cause for concern. So you just want to just eliminate all possibilities, get yourself checked out, and make sure that baby is okay. So again, it's better to be safe than sorry. And so that's the main reason why kick counts are super important during pregnancy, especially during your third trimester, because it helps you to know that your baby is doing okay inside of the womb. It's one way for you to know that baby's doing safe. And so for me, what I like to do is I do my kick counts usually once I put my other children to bed. So once I get into bed, that seems to be when my baby is the most active. But like I said, this baby is just active all day long. Actually, I think the baby's asleep right now. But normally I can feel this baby moving all day long, so I really don't worry about it. Like, I'm not really like, I sit down and have my phone in front of me and I'm timing them and, you know, charting them. So I don't really do that. But when I lay down, I just kind of make a mental note. I feel the baby moving here, I feel the baby moving there. A lot of times I fall asleep and the baby's still, you know, doing his or her own thing. So I know that the baby is fine. So that's how I do it now. Like I said, this is my fourth pregnancy, so I kind of know what to look for and, you know, how to do these things. My first pregnancy, I definitely did keep it charted on my phone. Like I said, I used the Baby Center app. I had a whole bunch of different apps, so I used all of them. And a lot of them have the kick count timer on there and a contraction timer, so you can just pull that up. You can search it. There's many of them out there, or like I said, pen and paper works fine as well. So that's what I like to do. I like to do it when I get into bed. That's when my baby is the most active, so around like 7, 8 o'clock at night. And a lot of times also after I eat, the baby is active. So I believe that's all that I have for this video. If I've forgotten something, because I'm very forgetful these days, I will leave that in the description box or down in the comments below this video. if you are pregnant, or if you have any additional questions about kid counts, definitely leave that down below as well, and I will do my best to research it for you, or to answer your question if I already know it off the top of my head. Remember, if you are pregnant, to trust your instincts, and this can apply to pretty much any stage of pregnancy. If something doesn't feel right, get it checked out. And if people aren't listening to you, if doctors aren't listening to you, you make them listen to you until you have what you need, or your peace of mind that you need as far as things that are concerning you during your pregnancy. So thank you so much for watching today. If you like this video, give me a great big thumbs up. Thank you to also all my new subscribers. I appreciate you all. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe if you can. Remember to let your story be your power, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.